Equity and Respect in the Classroom by Liz Melfi, EDBE 3480. Promoting a culturally responsive learning environment. Cultural differences. Classrooms in America reflect a spectrum of different cultures from around the world. Our job as teachers is to connect with all students. We need to be culturally competent and relevant. Culturally competent teachers have the dispositions, attitudes, knowledge, skills, and resources to ensure high levels of learning among their culturally different learners and have high levels of racial and cultural competence. Culturally relevant teachers can relate to all their students and understand where they come from. They expect high levels of academic achievement and incorporate culturally relevant lessons in their curriculum and instruction. They build positive connections with the students and their families. Family involvement. Teachers should always encourage parents to be involved in school events by making time for informal conversations when parents come to the school, personally inviting parents to events and asking them what their goals are for their children and how the teacher can help the child to reach these goals. Ensure that there are sufficient translators for school events, whether formal events like parent-teacher conferences or informal events at school. All communications home, such as homework schedules and newsletters, should be in the family's home language. Hold group parent-teacher conferences. Because many Latino and Asian cultures are collectivistic, as opposed to the more individualistic American culture, parents may feel comfortable speaking together in a group setting. Ask bilingual immigrant parents who are already leaders at the school to reach out to new immigrant parents to help acclimate them to the school and community. Make sure immigrant parents know that they have the right to be involved in their children's education. People in the United States often take that for granted, but in many cultures it is a novel idea. Classroom activities. First step to helping students understand diversity is teaching them to appreciate themselves. Drawing self-portraits helps students look closely at themselves and their attributes. This is an opportunity to talk about skin color and features that have to do with ethnic background. Let students talk about the range of color in the classroom and the things they find beautiful in themselves and others. Hang self-portraits around your classroom wall as a way of demonstrating some aspects of their diversity. Give students time to learn about their family heritage by interviewing their families or even having a special family week where they can share the things that make their own families unique. Though these activities will vary at different age levels, all students can benefit from talking about their own ethnic backgrounds, immigration histories, family traditions, and family habits. Students can think about what aspects of their families they see reflected in their own identities. Curricular materials. Classrooms should have books in all the languages your students speak, particularly in the case of ELLs. There should also be books in the classroom library that represent all cultures. Aside from physical materials, there are 3 effective ways to bring all students together and make lessons culturally responsive. Games. Games are the power strategy for culturally grounded learning because they get the brain's attention and require active processing. Most games employ a lot of the cultural tools you'll find in oral traditions: repetition, solving a puzzle, making connections between things that don't seem to be related. Make it social. Organizing learning so that students rely on each other will build on diverse students' communal orientation. Even making learning slightly competitive in a good-natured way increases students' level of attention and engagement. Create a narrative. The brain is wired to remember stories and to use the story structure to make sense of the world. In oral traditions, stories play a bigger role in teaching lessons about manners and morality. Students learn content more effectively if they can create a coherent narrative about the topic or process presented. It also offers a great way to check for understanding and correct misconceptions. Promoting respect for diversity. Socioeconomic diversity. There are many misconceptions regarding students from low-income households. These include the children don't try, they have no place to study, their parents don't care, their culture does not value education. These and other excuses are regularly made to explain the achievement gap that separates poor and minority students from other young Americans. As teachers, we need, above all else, to believe that all students can learn and be taught. All students can succeed. Teachers need to be personally committed to achieving equity for all students and believe that they are capable of making a difference in their students' learning. Be cognizant of situations at home, but always maintain high expectations and challenging curriculum. Sexual orientation diversity. Issues for LGBTQ students include bullying or harassment against students who are or are perceived as LGBTQ, the high rates of truancy, dropout, substance abuse, homelessness, and suicide, controversy surrounding LGBTQ school events and student clubs, the right of school personnel to come out or identify as LGBTQ in school, and other issues. In many jurisdictions, LGBTQ school personnel still lack legal or contractual employment benefits, rights, and protections against discrimination based on sexual orientation or gender identity. School culture needs to be positive for LGBTQ individuals as well as other students. Curriculum must be inclusive. For example, English classes can study LGBTQ themes in famous literary works and research and write about these issues, and government classes could include legal and legislative responses to abuse directed at LGBTQ students. Religious beliefs diversity. Understanding religious beliefs other than one's own is a key element of tolerance, since religion often defines a significant part of a person's identity. In the United States, the spectrum of religious diversity is a part of our culture as a whole. Ask students essential questions like, what is religious freedom? And why should you show respect for other people's religious beliefs? In America, religious freedom is protected by the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. Religious freedom can be defined as the right to practice any religion you choose, or to live without any religion at all without the government getting involved. Have children put this definition in their own words and then share with a partner. Ethnic and racial diversity. Diversity or multicultural education is a continuous approach to working with children, parents, families, and colleagues every day. This means that children in our classrooms must learn about their own backgrounds, learn about the backgrounds of people who are different from them, see themselves, their families, and their communities represented throughout the school, continually be exposed to activities, materials, and concrete experiences that destroy stereotypes, learn to enjoy, appreciate, and seek out differences, learn that harassment and intolerance is never acceptable, and discover that there are usually a whole variety of ways to solve a problem, complete a task, or answer a question.